You know this feeling. The relationship ended, the messages stopped, the conversations are over. Maybe months have passed, maybe years. Outwardly, you agree it is done. You say the right words to your friends. It was for the best. We were not good for each other. I am over it. But late at night, or on random afternoons, something small happens. A smell, a song, a street, a stranger's profile, and suddenly you are back in that story. You replay old scenes. You check their page, even though you promised yourself you would not. You wonder what you could have said differently, how the story could have gone if you had just been wiser, calmer, more healed, more something. A part of you knows this is not healthy. Another part whispers, but they were special, that was different. Jung would say you are not pathetic or obsessed for feeling this way. You are entangled with something deeper than a person. You are entangled with a complex, a charged knot in the psyche, and with an inner image of love that this person woke up in you. And if, even in these first minutes, you feel that familiar tug in your chest, this channel is for you. You can quietly support this kind of slow, Jung-inspired work by hitting like and subscribing. It is a small signal to the algorithm that there is still space here for deep conversations, not just quick how to move on in 30 seconds advice. Tonight we are going to talk about why you cannot let go even when you know the story is over, why a part of you keeps going back to someone who cannot meet you, and how to begin loosening this bond without having to hate them or yourself. We will look at 4 hidden reasons your psyche keeps holding on, and then 3 grounded practices to help you release in a way that honors what this connection meant without staying trapped inside it. Jung noticed that when we fall for someone, we are rarely seeing them clearly. We are seeing a mixture, a real human being, our own projections, our own unlived qualities, and the old wounds they trigger in us. When the relationship ends, the real person leaves your life. But the projections, the fantasies, the wounds, and the image of love they awakened in you remain. So you are not just missing them. You are missing a version of yourself that only existed in that story. Let us look at 4 ways this usually shows up. The first is the unfinished story. Deep down, you never got an ending that made sense. Maybe they disappeared without explanation. Maybe they left with vague reasons that still do not feel true. It is not you, it is me. I am just not ready. Maybe on paper the relationship ended, but your heart is still standing in the last scene saying, wait, what just happened? Your body signal here is a restless, circling energy whenever you think about them. You keep returning to the same memories, the same last conversations, as if you could finally find the missing sentence that would let you rest. Your calendar signal is that you tell the story of this relationship again and again to yourself or to others, hoping that one more retelling will unlock a sense of closure. From a Jungian view, your psyche is not being dramatic. It is trying to complete a pattern. The problem is that you are asking the wrong person to write the last chapter. You are waiting for them to come back and explain, or to apologize perfectly, or to give you the scene where everything finally makes emotional sense. Some people will never be able or willing to do that. Holding on, then, becomes a way of refusing to accept that your closure might have to come from inside you, not from their mouth. The second is the future that never happened. Very often you are not actually in love with the relationship you had. You are in love with the future you built in your mind. You imagined trips, homes, children, projects, a shared life. You built a whole invisible world around this connection. When it ended, that world collapsed, but only in reality. Inside, it is still standing. You still walk through those imaginary rooms. You still talk to them in your head. You still feel as if you owe something to that future, even though it will never exist in this form. Your body signal here is a hollow, almost physical ache when you think about what we could have been. Your calendar signal is that you postpone building new things in your life because a part of you is still emotionally living in that cancelled future. Jung would say that what you projected into that future is not lost. The qualities you felt there, safety, intensity, adventure, family, creativity, home, belong to your own soul. You gave them to this story. Letting go feels like killing them. So you hold on, believing that this person is the only doorway to that kind of life. The third reason is a wound around self-worth. This shows up when you cannot let go, not because the relationship was beautiful, but because it was rejecting. They did not choose you fully. They were hot and cold. They said you were too much or not enough. Maybe they stayed ambiguous until the end. A part of you stays hooked not on love, but on the hope that one day they will change their mind and choose you properly. Your body signal here is a sharp mix of shame and craving when you think about them. Your calendar signal is that you keep a small door open, you check their life, you leave yourself available just in case. You accept crumbs of contact that keep the hope alive. From a Jungian perspective, this usually points to a much older story. Someone important, long before this person, did not fully choose you either. A parent, a first love, a figure whose attention was always divided. You are not just trying to get this partner to love you. You are trying to fix an ancient humiliation. Letting go feels like agreeing that you are not worth choosing. So your psyche says, we cannot leave until we win. The fourth is the identity that grew around this love. Some connections rearrange your entire sense of self. With this person, you discovered new music, ideas, parts of your body, parts of your mind, parts of your darkness and light. You saw yourself through their eyes, and for a while you liked what you saw, or at least you recognized yourself in a way you never had before. When it ends, it is not just that they are gone. It is that a version of you seems to vanish with them. Your body signal here is a sense of emptiness or confusion when you try to imagine yourself in the future without this story. Your calendar signal is that for a long time you measure your days in before them and after them, as if your life's timeline were cut in half. Jung would say that this is a sign that the relationship carried archetypal weight in your psyche. It was never just about dating. It was about your soul meeting a mirror. Letting go then feels like losing that mirror and being afraid you will never see yourself clearly again. So what do you do with all of this besides telling yourself to move on and then hating yourself when you cannot? From a Jungian angle, letting go is not a switch. It is a process of taking back, piece by piece, everything you projected into that person and that shared future. It is less about forcing yourself to stop feeling and more about changing what your feelings are attached to. Let us turn this into practice. First practice, separate the real relationship from the imagined one. Take a sheet of paper and divide it mentally into two clear spaces. In the first space, describe the relationship as it actually was, not as it felt on the best days, and not as you wish it had been, but as honestly as you can. How often you felt calm, how often you felt anxious, how they responded to your needs, how conflicts were handled, what your body felt most of the time. Do not rush this. Then, in the second mental space, describe the relationship as your fantasy tells it. The moments you replay over and over, the version of them you still carry, the future you imagined. As you do this, notice the gap. For many people, it is shocking to see in black and white that what they cannot let go of is not the life they actually had, but the story they were hoping to live. This is not to shame you. It is to help your psyche see that releasing this person is not the same as abandoning love itself. You are letting go of a bridge that did not truly carry your weight. Second practice, reclaim the qualities you projected. Ask yourself a simple question: What did I experience in this connection that I am afraid I will never feel again? Maybe it was feeling deeply seen. Maybe it was intensity and passion. Maybe it was softness and safety. Maybe it was feeling interesting, alive, desired, wise, silly, spontaneous. Make a short list of these qualities or states. Then, next to each one, write one very small way you could invite that quality into your life without this person. If it was feeling seen, maybe it is one conversation a week where you tell the truth to a friend. If it was adventure, maybe it is a solo trip to a new part of your own city. If it was softness, maybe it is the way you speak to yourself in the mirror in the morning. You are teaching your unconscious that those qualities belong to you. This person awakened them. They did not invent them. You are not trying to replace them with distractions or forced positivity. You are letting your life slowly become a place where what you loved in that relationship can exist in healthier, more grounded forms. Third practice, create a ritual of respectful release. The psyche speaks in symbols and rituals. That is why breakups feel so haunting when they are purely digital. Blocked numbers, deleted chats, silent phones. Nothing in you has had a moment to mark. This is over. You do not need a dramatic ceremony. You need a clear gesture that your unconscious can understand. This can be writing a letter you will never send, where you thank this person for what was real, name what hurt you, and state clearly that you are no longer waiting for them to come back and rescue this story. You can then burn or tear the letter and say out loud, even if it feels strange, I release you to your path and I return to mine. It can be taking an object that symbolizes the relationship and placing it somewhere it does not call you every day, a box, a drawer, a distant shelf, as a physical sign that this chapter is closed, even if the learning from it is not. You are not cursing them. You are not pretending you never cared. You are acknowledging that your life cannot stay frozen around an absence. Even with all of this, there will be days when you miss them so sharply that it takes your breath away. There will be songs you still skip, places you avoid, dreams where they appear as if nothing ever ended. That does not mean you have failed at healing. It means this story cut deep, and deep things take time to integrate. Jung never promised that consciousness would erase pain. He suggested that when you bring what is unconscious into awareness, the pain changes shape. It stops being a mystical curse and becomes part of your human story. You begin to see that longing for them was also longing for yourself. If this spoke to you, you can leave a small sign in the comments. Write, I choose to let go with respect. Not as a forced affirmation, but as a gentle note to the part of you that has stood at the same emotional doorway for far too long, hoping the past would open it again. If you want more Jung-inspired films about love, loss, shadow, and the slow work of becoming who you actually are, you are welcome to subscribe and stay close to this space. This channel is Jung-inspired and independent, not affiliated with the Jung estate or any institute. Everything here is for education and reflection, not a substitute for therapy or medical care. If your grief or attachment ever feels so heavy that you begin to lose your will to live, please reach out to a qualified professional or someone you trust. You are not weak for struggling to let go. You are a psyche that built an entire inner world around a connection and is now learning slowly and bravely to bring that world back home to you.